closing statements. You each have 2 minutes. Mrs. McMahon, you are first.
Well, once again, thank all of you for participating in this race because our economy is in shambles. People are out of work. Families are hurting. Nest eggs are devastated. And there aren't enough people in Washington that know how to create jobs. And I want to make sure that the American dream is here for my grandchildren and for more generations to come. I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, I'm a wife. I've struggled building a career while raising a family, and neither job was easy. I've known lean times, and I've known prosperity. I've been the CEO in a tough business, and I've made tough decisions. The choice in this election on November 2nd are absolutely clear. Mr. Blumenthal has been a lifelong politician and in government all of his life. I'm a businesswoman that's created over 500 jobs here in our state. He wants to grow government. I want to grow the economy, and they both can't grow at the same time. He wants to raise taxes. I want to keep taxes low and keep the money in the hands of our families in Connecticut and businesses that do create jobs. We have to change the direction our government is taking our country. We absolutely must incentivize small businesses so the jobs will grow in the private sector. You know, I have spent the past year traveling around our state, talking to many of you almost on a daily basis. And I have learned that there are many of you who are hurting. And as a senator, I want that young mother with 2 children who was widowed as a result of the Afghanistan war and fighting for her benefits. I want the veteran fighting red tape. And I want the teacher struggling for innovation to know that they have a champion, and for our seniors to know that they will be protected. This is the greatest country on earth. The opportunity here abounds. We just have to write the course.
Thank you very much, Mrs. McMahon. Mr. Blumenthal, 2 minutes, please. Please. Ladies and gentlemen, please. Mr. Blumenthal, 2 minutes.
Thank you, and thank you again to everyone who has participated tonight. This election, like all elections, is about the future, and it offers a clear choice. My opponent has said that she is different, and she is different from me. I am proud of having devoted my life to helping people through public service. I'm proud of having helped Kathy Platt when her business at Alderman Motors was about to be shut down by General Motors, and we saved those jobs. I'm proud to have stood with Billy Clark when his jobs and hundreds of other jobs at Pratt & Whitney were going to be shipped abroad or ended illegally, and we stood side by side. And I'm proud of having stood with Laura Austin when her insurer was going to stop providing the baby formula that she needed. I am proud of standing strong and helping people, not putting profits before people. And I think the question for the people of Connecticut will be, if my opponent has treated the people who work for her the way she has, how will she treat the people who vote for her? I am proud of having fought for the people of Connecticut. And you don't need to simply listen to me, look at my record of action. If I were United States Senator, I would have opposed the bailout because it did too much for Wall Street, not enough for those small businesses that really need help. I would oppose the loopholes in our taxation laws that encourages jobs to go overseas. I would stand for a middle-class tax cut now in fairness and also because it's the right thing for our economy. Again and again and again, I have stood for the people of Connecticut. They can count on me, you can count on me, to be in your corner and to fight for you.
Mr. Blumenthal, thank you very much. Mrs. McMahon, thank you very much. All right, in the interest of time, on behalf of the League of Women Voters, to our panelists, to our candidates, I'm Ann Nyberg. Thank you for letting us be here with you today.
Well, you know it and I know it. We're facing a lot of big problems, and the system is broken. The U.S. Senate doesn't function anymore. Mark Shields on the NewsHour recently said that the average Republican senator could pass the average Democratic senator on the street and they wouldn't recognize each other. There's that little interaction across the aisle. They're not solving our problems. They're playing games of gotcha. They're afraid to give each other any credit at all for any good ideas. And this is why we need leadership and real change in our political process. If I were elected senator, in my first 100 days, I would meet with each of the 99 senators one-on-one, because I could do that, and talk to them about real solutions to problems. Let's be realistic. I know I'm not going to win this year, but I have a goal of getting 1/10 as many votes as either of these candidates, spending less than 1,000th as much per vote. I'm going to be around after November. This is a long-term plan to rebuild our democracy and to bring sanity to our government. We're going to build a major third party, the Independent Party in Connecticut, over the next 10 years. And if we can show them that people will vote for the best candidate instead of the candidate with the most money, or just automatically vote for whichever party you associate yourself with, we will build something starting now. We will build momentum. Don't be a good Democrat and automatically vote for all the Democrats. And don't be a good Republican and automatically vote for all the Republicans. Think for yourselves and be an independent. Now, I'd like to talk a little bit about some issues that weren't brought up. First, I'll answer that question about cap and trade. I teach energy policy, and we don't have a national energy policy. I present one on my website. Greenhouse gas emissions and global warming is a serious concern. If CO2 levels continue to increase in the atmosphere, the laws of physics say that the radiation from the sun, more of the radiation from the sun will be kept in the Earth's atmosphere and temperatures will increase. That's indisputable. What's disputable is what the risks and costs will be. And again, I don't have enough time to go into the great details, but what we have to address is coal use. We have about 100 years of petroleum and 100 years of natural gas left, and we're going to use it all. The economic momentum is such that we're going to use all the oil and natural gas. We have thousands of years of coal left, and coal has an extremely high percentage of carbon. So that's what we have to wrestle with. How can we maintain our energy supply and reduce greenhouse gas emissions from coal? And the best way to do that is to tax CO2 emissions from coal power plants. Cap and trade, if done well, could also help. But what we need to work on is making it cost effective to do CO2 sequestration. This is technical talk, but that's the answer. I'd like to talk a little bit more about things that weren't discussed tonight during the debate. I'm talking about reducing unemployment, which I've already talked about tonight. I'm talking about protecting us from another mortgage crisis and dealing with the too big to fail problem. I have something called the 30% rule that would fix that problem. Require every bank to own 30% of every loan they make for the lifetime of the loan. It's the way banks used to function back in the day. That's all we need, is for them to have ownership of each mortgage that they give, so they don't bundle them up and sell them and wipe their hands of it, and you understand. Enabling entrepreneurism and small business investment, I've already talked about that. Implementing intelligent and honest policy in Afghanistan and bringing our troops home from the Middle East. I opposed President Obama's plan to increase our troop levels to 100,000 in Afghanistan. I thought it didn't do anything for our national interests there, which are to prevent Al-Qaeda from a resurgence and from implementing training camps for terrorists that could attack us at home. I go into great detail about that on my website. Rebuilding our cities. I have a 21st century Marshall Plan to do that. And without an educated and effective workforce, we will not grow our economy. Ending corporate ownership of our government and ending corporate citizenship. through a constitutional amendment. Implementing real health care reform with cost control, as I mentioned. Fixing our ridiculously complicated tax system and addressing tax fairness. Small businesses, on average, pay someone 56 hours to do their tax form. And that does not take into account all the time, all the bookkeeping time. Our tax code is ridiculously complicated, and it has ridiculous loopholes for the wealthy. We can fix that. We can end the AMT, and we can end the marriage penalty, and simplify our tax code, and that would stimulate our economy. Dealing with immigration in an honest and humane way. Implementing intelligent drug law reform. 3% of our population is in the criminal justice system. That's 7 times the rate of Canada and 5 times the rate of any other developed country. It's insane. And Americans are spending $100 billion a year on illegal drugs that go overseas and fund the Taliban, our enemies, and fund terrorists in Colombia and Mexico. There's a great book entitled Ending the War on Drugs, written in 1989 by a conservative Republican who campaigned for Ronald Reagan. His name is Dirk Chase Eldridge. Find a copy of that book on Amazon and read it. It'll tell you what we need to do. I'll close now. I'm offering you intelligent, nonpartisan problem solving. Please go to my website, go to the website of all the candidates, and then vote for the best candidate. Don't throw your vote away on the two-party system that doesn't solve our problems. Thank you. I'm John Mertens. Have a good night. And thanks for watching.